What's going on? Your big homie Kev. What's happening? Basically, today I'm going to tell you about one of my major music placements experiences. I'm going to go in just so you know and understand the process if you've never been through this process before. Now, if you have, then, for you it might have been different, but this is how it was for me. So, first of all, I created Tank and Chris Brown's Foreplay. And, even still to this day, I still look at this album and look at my name next to Chris Brown's. Like, this is it's crazy. This is my motivation. And I have others back here as well, but I'm going to tell you about that one. So, I, first of all, had a management team, and everything was good and solid with my management team, so everything was solid, and then one day I'm creating a beat, and no, actually I wasn't. I had just finished creating a beat, and I was writing down um, goals. So I was writing down goals, and the first thing I had wrote was get a major placement. Right as I'm talking about the second I wrote the T, I got a phone call. Like literally, this is exactly how it happened. This is exactly how it happened. I get a phone call, so I answer the phone, and it's my manager. And they tell me that congratulations, you've just got a major placement. Chris Brown just wrote a song, and he's he want to use it, and everything is good. He wants to use it for Tank, and all of this. So we go through that process, and everything was good. So I end up hearing the song, and everything just went perfectly after that. I met Tank and got a chance to get his number and like just establish a good relationship with these brothers. But um, so next, so now in my mind, I got a major placement. So I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till the money come. You know what I'm saying? That's how we think, right? We know that with major placements come money. So, I was excited. So Atlantic Records sent me over the contract, and I was, first of all, excited. I'm doing business now. I go from making beats in my studio to now I'm doing business with Atlantic Records. And, just quick side note, it happened for me, so it can happen for you too. It could happen. Okay, so I end up doing the paperwork, sending everything back, and, I was amazed, first of all, at how much industry producers get for their beats. Mind you, this was my first placement. I never had a major placement until then. And, um, so I was amazed, and I know you want to know exactly what the amount was, and I ain't gonna mention the amount, but it was over 10,000. So we just gonna say that. So um, they end up giving me the contract. I signed the contract and sent it back, and they actually sent me the contract I think 4 months before the album came out. So this whole time I'm just on a high, man. I'm every day I'm taking more action. I'm making more beats, and I'm just doing more now, because now it's like, okay, yeah, this gets serious now. Like I need to go in. So 2 months before the album come out, we get a call that they changed their mind. They might not use the song. So now I'm going from this high adrenaline to now I'm down. And I'm like, man, like, how could this happen? I signed the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, that's lesson number one. Even after you sign the paperwork, they can still take the placement back and give you your music back, and it just doesn't happen. They can decide that up until the day before the album comes out. So now I'm biting my nails, and I'm like, damn, so does this mean I'm not going to make the album? And, does this mean, how we think, I'm not going to get paid? You know what I'm saying? So I go through that whole thing, and, second lesson, never let what happens right now bring you down, because for me it brought me down, and I didn't take no action. I didn't for like a week or so. I didn't make no beats. I kind of didn't do nothing. I just went into this dark place, because I was, again, I was ready to get this placement, and now I might not get the placement. It was heartbreaking, just to keep it real. So I end up doing that. And then like a month before the album comes out, they finally call and say that they gon' actually honor, the music, and they gonna use the music. Tank loves the song, and they want to go forward. So now I'm back on this high again. You know what I'm saying? Lesson number 3: stay in that place. Never let anything bring you down. You have to stay in the mental mindset of not worrying about one thing that happens. That was my problem, is I was worried about one thing that happens because I didn't have too many other streams of income at that time. I only thought that major placement was it. So I ended up getting this money, and I got half of the money. What they do is before the album come out, they give you half the money. So I got half of the money, and I mean, it was right before Christmas. Man, when I tell you I went crazy, I went crazy. I bought my kids everything that they thought they might have wanted. Like literally, my wife had a nice Christmas. All my family had a nice Christmas, and I just went in. Lesson number 4: don't spend your money like that, because I went crazy. It was like December the 5th when I got that money, or December the 8th, or somewhere around there when I got that money. It was all cash. I was like, my management came here to the studio and they brought me all cash. And I was like, whoa, so I knew it was serious, and, everything was good. Then the album comes out, and then, you know, I'm thinking right after that, the day after the album comes out, I get the rest of the money. Well, actually, I didn't get that money until like a month or so later. And that's for the placement that they used the music already. They mixed the music already. Everything was perfect, I thought, So the album comes out, the album is doing pretty good. Then I get the rest of my money. So now I'm happy, I'm like, okay, I get to start the year off right again, I mean. And so that happens, and within this time, first of all, lesson number 5: it takes at least a year for you to see any royalties from any major placement. Period. Like, so just think, for people that don't want to create a beat site, like, why would you wait for a year for only one thing to happen when you can create so many other sources? Okay, so I'm thinking that, everything is going to be okay, and I'm going to get my money, and, everything is all good. So a couple months go by, and me and my management, we actually part ways, and we go different routes. They go their way and I go my way. And it really wasn't even nothing bad that happened. We just, decided that, everybody was kind of in another space at that time. So we kind of all went different ways. And like, that kind of shattered where I was at the time too, because it was like, damn, now I got to go back to handling all my own affairs and all my own things. So it was like, damn, like, what do I do now? So, I bounced back from that, and I'm thinking that the royalties and everything will still come. So what happened is I end up coming in contact with someone that actually did business with a company that helps people get royalties. And he tells me about him. I call him up, and what I end up finding out is that Atlantic Records, the same company I just did the deal with, they act like they didn't know who I was. True story. They act like they didn't know who I was. And then when they found out who I was, they act like I had moved or changed addresses. That's why they didn't get me all my money. So long story short, I had to hire a company to go after my royalties for my major placement. And I mean, that was just a whole nother process. So time goes by, I finally end up getting that royalty check, and still to this day, royalties come years later. And so, like, the whole royalty game is good but you have to do a lot of work in order to get your royalties happening. That's why it's important that you start now. Start now getting your music and TV and film. I mean, and I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but, back to it. I was, just in a place where it was like, okay, now, if the label's faulty, me and my management not dealing with each other, what do I do? And then so, to make a long story short, I am where I am today. And, that just goes to show you that as a music producer, everything that we think or that we've thought it was like years ago, it's not like that. It's not like that. I mean, there are music producers out there that's probably got a better story than me, but it's not like that. Like, I mean, it's not all beautiful. Like, there's a lot of people in the music industry hurting. There's a lot of people in the music industry broke. There's a lot of people in the music industry just fronting on Twitter, acting and Facebook and Instagram, acting like they have it a certain way and they don't. So um, that's just my story. You know, it's not a horror story. It's just a real story because I wanted you to understand what could happen in the major on the major side of things. And I mean, it's not saying that it's gonna happen like that for you. I'm just sharing with you my experience. Like I said, there's a lot of producers out there that ain't went through nothing bad. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of producers that have. So to make a long story short, you know, make sure that you understand what you're doing. Make sure that you know what you're going after, and then make sure multiple streams of income. I don't know how many times I can preach that. You gotta have multiple streams of income. You have to. Like that's, I mean, you have to. You know, so do that. And if you haven't gotten your free luxury loop pack, go to luxuryloops.com. Get your free loop pack right now. Get in that zone. Make those bangers. And subscribe. Hit the like button. Peace.